Hi everyone and welcome to the channel. These are the Hidizs MM2 in-ear monitors, which have some pretty neat tricks that are worth having a closer look at. So if you want to hear more about these IEMs, then stick with me after the intro. So the two main features that make the Hidizs MM2 a somewhat unique proposition for under $100 are the interchangeable tuning valves and the dual driver setup. But before we get into all that, I have to tell you that I got these IEMs from the manufacturer for testing, but I'm not getting paid for this review, so all you can expect to hear from me is my unbiased and honest opinion. Next, there are a couple of things we have to talk about with regard to the design of the MM2. First, there is the body of the earphones, which is made from a special eco-friendly resin, which is also see-through. Then there is this fancy-looking aluminum alloy faceplate, which has a diamond-like cut and it looks really good in black, but it's not too shabby in silver either. The whole design screams quality, and Hidizs seem to have put a lot of effort into designing and manufacturing these IEMs. What I'm personally not the biggest fan of, from an aesthetics point of view, is this little shiny rose gold thing in the middle of the faceplate, but it's not just a useless design feature, as these actually are those tuning valves I mentioned before. You can unscrew it and replace it with either a red one or a silver one, depending on whether you want more bass or more treble. The engineers at Hidizs tuned all three valves differently, even though they fit in the same hole on the body. The valves themselves are made from aluminum, and also the little plate that holds the two extra sets of valves is a piece of solid aluminum as well. Due to the lack of an app or an onboard DSP, using these tuning valves is your only option to play around with the sound of the MM2 without any third-party hardware or software. And I have to say that it's quite a clever way of giving you some extra flexibility when it comes to the sound signature of your IEMs, but I'll go into more details about the sound in a minute. Another area where the MM2 provides you with flexibility is the removable cable, which uses a standard 2-pin connector. This high-quality mixed braided cable has a single-ended 3.5mm jack connector on the other end, which, along with the high-sensitivity drivers, make the MM2s compatible with any phones, laptops or tablets. Well, it does as long as your device comes with a headphone jack, which is less and less likely these days. But regardless of your source, the cable itself is lightweight and comfortable to use, and I did not have any cable noise or other issues with it, so I don't think I would ever upgrade to a third-party solution, but of course the option is always there. Especially if you want to get the most out of a portable DAC or headphone amplifier, such as the Hidizs DH80S, which I also got for this test. The D880S is one of those headphone amps that offer you a 4.4mm balanced output, so if that's what you want to use, you will need another cable. But as I said, I'm 100% happy with the cable the MM2 comes with, so I didn't feel the urge to go ahead and buy a balanced one, considering the fact that all of my DACs and source devices I tested the MM2s with have a single-ended connection. There is no 1/4-inch jack adapter in the box, so you will have to use your own or buy one if you need such thing for a desktop DAC, for example. What you can find in the box, however, are 6 sets of silicone ear tips, which are not only different in diameter, but also in length, which again offers you a high level of flexibility when it comes to fitting the IEMs into your ears. I found that the medium-sized long ones provide me with a good combination of long-term comfort and passive noise isolation. No hotspots, no pressure, and thanks to the design, the earphones won't budge during casual activities. However, I would not recommend using them for workouts, as there is no official IP rating that I'm aware of. The MM2s without the cable weigh in just under 5 grams each, and that low weight also contributes to the high level of comfort. So the earbuds look stylish, they are comfy to wear, and the cable also handles everyday use and abuse with aplomb, but my absolute favorite is actually this leather carry pouch that comes with the MM2. You can store the MM2s and carry them around safely using this case. This would be a nice touch at any price point, but for $80 it was somewhat unexpected to see such a high quality, well-designed carry case in the box. And I was also happy to see that the MM2 comes with a special dual driver setup, and I mean it literally, as you can actually see what's inside the MM2 thanks to the see-through resin body. So what we have here is a 10.2mm dynamic mid-bass driver made from some sort of a macromolecule polymer, and there is also a 6mm low voltage magnetostatic balanced membrane driver to handle high frequencies. This low distortion, easy to drive membrane is extremely thin, which results in a detailed sound with a fast transient response. And I heard a great deal of detail during my tests indeed, with good separation between instruments and a spacious, wide soundstage. Everything sounds snappy, lively and energetic, but certain frequencies in the treble can get a bit too hot at times, but I wouldn't call them shrill overall. Maybe some masters can sound harsher than others, especially with the valves tuned for giving you extra treble. Bass is taut, but it's a bit rolled off even with the red-colored bass valves, which can only add a bit of a boost to the mid and upper bass without affecting the sub-bass that much. I'm happy with the amount of bass we got, as it sounds snappy and clean, but it's not quite basshead approved in my opinion. The mid-range is clear, even though the upper bass bleeds into it a little, and we also get this V-shaped sound signature, which means that the bass and the treble get pulled up a notch, while the mid-range is pushed back in the mix. I prefer a sound signature with more prominent vocals, which have more life and body, and I feel like that the MM2 comes up a bit short in that particular area. But most instruments have good presence and they come through with clarity thanks to the slight bump in the upper mid-range region. It gives an extra bite and definition to the sound overall, and besides the bass, this is the other area which is affected the most by the tuning valves. The silver ones add an extra amount of energy here, making the sound brighter, while the red ones take away some of it, making the sound smoother. The silver valves also attenuate the bass response a little, while not affecting much of the sound in the mid-range at all. If I had to choose, I would say that the treble valves are my least favorite of the three available options. My personal preference is the balanced setting, but I also like listening to certain songs and genres using the bass valves, as everything sounds a bit more full and warm, even if it comes at the expense of some extra muddiness in the upper bass and lower mid-range. Overall, the sound quality is fun and energetic, and you get the option to fine-tune it to your personal taste. To wrap up my review of the Hidizs MM2 in-ear monitors, I have to say that even though these are actually the first so-called IEMs I used and tested, I'm absolutely impressed with their general build quality and design. The dual driver setup, the tuning valves, the cable and the leather pouch also add tremendous value to the entire package. So if you want a set of traditional wired IEMs with a V-shaped and entertaining sound, then I strongly suggest you have a look at the MM2. Now, I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, then please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Share your thoughts and questions with me in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. See you next time.